Xiaomi has been trying to break the mold of a budget smartphone maker for quite some time now, and on multiple occasions it has brought in its premium Mi series of smartphones, with the latest attempt being the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro. Now this particular smartphone is the successor of the Xiaomi Mi 10, but it starts at a more affordable price of just 39,999 rupees. But has Xiaomi cut a lot more than the price on the Mi 10T Pro? Well, here's my full review and you'll find that out soon. Let's start by focusing on the main highlight of the Mi 10T Pro, and that is the display. It has a 144Hz refresh rate. This right here is a 6.67-inch Full HD Plus flat panel. Yes, you no longer get a curved OLED display like the one found on the Mi 10, but rest assured, this high refresh rate LCD display is pretty good. It has decent viewing angles and it does get bright enough when you're outdoors. With the Mi 10T Pro, you do have the option to select different color modes and customize the color temperature of the display. You can choose between 60Hz, 90Hz and 144Hz, and personally I had set it to 144Hz, which made the animations appear smooth and browsing through the menus felt fluid. There is support for HDR10 as well. By the way, if you've been enjoying this video so far, do hit that bell button, and if you're new here, be sure you are subscribed to the Gadgets 360 YouTube channel so that you are notified whenever we upload a new video. The Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro looks and feels premium. The frame is made out of metal and feels cold to the touch. You also get Corning's Gorilla Glass 5 protection on the front, back and the camera module lenses as well, which should help keep the smartphone from picking up scratches. The camera module on the Mi 10T Pro protrudes quite a bit, and that causes the device to rock when it's placed on a flat surface. But I'm not surprised, because look at the triple camera setup on this device. It has a 108 megapixel primary camera. But does that deliver? Well, let's find that out. The Mi 10T Pro shoots 25 megapixel shots by default using the primary camera by using pixel binning, and the daylight shots had good details, but the output appeared over sharpened. Something I have observed with other Xiaomi smartphones as well. A few shots also had some noise which I wasn't expecting. Accompanying the primary camera is a 13 megapixel ultra wide angle camera with a 123-degree field of view, and you also get a 5 megapixel macro camera. The wide angle camera does not capture as much light as the primary sensor, and I found that the photos were a bit darker in the same conditions. There was a noticeable distortion at the edges as well. Photos clicked at the full 108 megapixel resolution offered good details but had a few grains in the shadows. Do note that the Mi 10T Pro does not sharpen photos clicked at full resolution. Low light camera performance was good and the AI was quick to set the camera up. The phone manages to keep noise under control, but it still sharpens the output. Night mode takes about 4 to 5 seconds to take a shot, and I noticed that the output was a higher resolution at roughly 27 megapixels. Night mode also helps capture better details than shooting in regular mode. However, you will need to have a steady hand while clicking to avoid a slightly blurry output. I found close-up shots to be very detailed with well-defined edges and a soft bokeh to the background. The Mi 10T Pro was quick to focus and the AI could determine what I was pointing the phone towards. The macro camera managed crisp shots with good details. The AI could detect pets while using portrait mode, and I could also set the level of blur before clicking. There's a 20 megapixel selfie shooter, and I have to say that the Mi 10T Pro managed good selfies in daylight as well as low light. Photos were sharp with good details, and you have the option to shoot in portrait mode as well, and the phone does let you set the level of blur before you click the shot. You also get full resolution 20 megapixel output from the selfie camera. Video recording tops out at 8K for the rear cameras and 1080p for the selfie shooter. Now there is OIS for the primary camera that helps stabilize the output. Video shot at 4K as well as 1080p in daylight were very well stabilized. The Mi 10T Pro also stabilized the footage well in low light, though there was occasional shimmer in the output. I could also spot a bit of lens flaring, but it wasn't a major issue. So now that you've seen all the camera samples clicked from the Mi 10T Pro, what do you think about them? Let me know that in the comments down below. Are the daylight shots good? Do the night shots need improvement? Well, put that in the comments and I will reply to you as well. Well, let's move to the performance now. While the switch from AMOLED to LCD is a big one, the internals of the Mi 10T Pro have more or less remained unchanged. The smartphone is powered by the same Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 processor as the Mi 10. This is paired with 8GB of LPDDR5 RAM and 128GB of UFS 3.1 internal storage. I have to say, given the hardware that the Mi 10T Pro houses, I had no doubts about its performance. The phone was quick to load apps and the high refresh rate made animations appear super smooth. I did not have to wait for long for apps to load, and with 8GB of RAM I could switch between multiple apps without having to wait for an app to reload. The side-mounted fingerprint scanner is super quick, and the face unlock feature could unlock the smartphone as the display lit up. Now, the one thing that I have noticed about the Mi 10T Pro is that it gets warm under load. So you use the camera for a little longer, multitask, or even if you're playing a game, the device does get a little warm to the touch rather quickly. I played Call of Duty Mobile, which weirdly defaulted to medium graphics quality and high frame rate. Bumping up the settings to very high did not have an effect on the performance, and the Mi 10T Pro could handle the game even at these settings. It did get warm to the touch and resulted in a 4% battery drop at the end of 20 minutes of gameplay. In terms of software, you get MIUI 12 loaded on top of Android 10. The UI seems familiar and is quite feature-packed. I found quite a few apps to be pre-installed on the device, such as Zilli, Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, Booking.com, WPS, and a lot more. And apps such as Themes, Music, and Get Apps kept pushing notifications, which got a little bit annoying. Considering that Xiaomi is trying to position this as a premium smartphone, keeping a tighter handle on spammy notifications would have been good. Now, before I forget, there's a game turbo feature which clears up other processes from memory, restricts gestures while gaming, and gives you the option to take your incoming calls hands-free while you're gaming. You can also customize a few settings for each game. Now, to keep things going, Xiaomi has packed in a 5000 mAh battery inside the Mi 10T Pro, which is part of the reason for its bulk. The Mi 10T Pro went on for about a day and a half with my usage, and the refresh rate was set to 144Hz. In our HD video loop test, the phone went on for 16 hours and 38 minutes, which is acceptable for a smartphone that's packing a Snapdragon 865 SoC. The smartphone ships with a 33-watt fast charger in the box, but I did not get mine in the review unit box. While the Mi 10T Pro offers powerful hardware, you don't really have to shell out as much as you would have for the Xiaomi Mi 10. This move from Xiaomi has made the Mi flagship series accessible to a lot of consumers. But the affordable price does come with a few omissions like the AMOLED display and wireless charging compared to the Mi 10. However, the 144Hz high refresh rate LCD display and the 108MP primary camera on the Mi 10T Pro give it an edge over the competition such as the iQOO 3 and the Realme X50 Pro 5G. However, the 144Hz high refresh rate LCD display and the 108MP primary camera on the Mi 10T Pro give it an edge over the competition such as the iQOO 3 and the Realme X50 Pro 5G, which are similarly priced. While the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro is a good alternative to these two smartphones, it isn't as easy to recommend over the OnePlus 8T because the OnePlus offers you cleaner software. It also gets a 120Hz AMOLED display and 65-watt fast charging by spending in a little extra. So that was my full review of the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro. Now, what do you think about the smartphone? I'd like to hear that. Let me know that in the comments down below. And as always, for all things tech, stay tuned to Gadgets360.com.